see you there in the shadows, hiding from the light. I can feel your careful eyes as I slip into the night. Silk on my skin, gentle rustle, like a siren song. You're drowning in me, in my mystery, but will you dare in the end? Come closer, darling, don't be shy. Within the dark, I feel your eyes. The secrets we're keeping, this dance we play. Will you discover me or will you run away? Behind the veil, just beyond your reach. You play your cards, I know you're game. Let's see if you can reach. Ask your question, say the words, maybe I'll give you a clue. Be careful, my dear, you think I'm the prey, but really, who's something who? Come closer, darling, don't be shy. Within the dark, I feel your eyes. The secrets we're keeping, this dance we play. Will you discover me or will you come closer, baby? Close your eyes. Within the dark, I feel your eyes. The secrets will fall, the dance will fade. You came to play, but maybe you been played. I see you there in the shadows, hiding from the light. I can feel your careful eyes as I slip into the night. Silk on my skin, gentle rustle, like a siren song. You're drowning in me, in my mystery, but will you dare in the end? Come closer, darling, don't be shy. Within the dark, I feel your eyes. The secrets we're keeping, this dance we play. Will you discover me or will you run away? I'm a whisper behind the veil, just beyond your reach. You play your cards, I know your game. Let's see if you can reach. ask your questions, say the words. Maybe I'll give you a clue. Be careful, my dear. Think you're the prey, but really, who's hunting who? Come closer, darling, don't be shy. Within the dark, I feel your eyes. The secrets we're keeping, this dance we play. Will you discover me or will you? Come closer, baby, close tonight. Within the dark, I feel your eyes. The secrets we hold, the dance will fade. You came to play, but maybe you've been played. I already have the ritual. Why? travel. Get ready, serving the feast. Look into my eyes. Now tell me the things you loving about behind my back. The tenacity I hold is hard to break down. It's too late for apologies, it's going down. Thirsty for blood, that's a craving for love. But you won't want for makes you go down. Whole lot of mood that only that's for you when it comes down on this screen. It's the fast forward. Disturbing the feast. Look into my eyes. Now tell me the things you're loving about behind my back. The tenacity I hold is hard to break down. It's too late for apologies. It's starting, some things may break. You don't always get back out. Your perspective gain from all the things and things. And when I do come back, I'm stronger than ever before. So please don't disturb in the peace. Look into my eyes. Now tell me the things you're blabbing about behind my back.
See you there in the shadows, hiding from the light. I can feel your careful eyes as I slip into the night. Silk on my skin, gentle rustle, like a siren song. You're drowning in me, in my mystery, but will you dare in the end?
Come closer, darling, don't be shy.
Within the dark, I feel your eyes. The secrets we're keeping, this dance we play. Will you discover me or will you run away? Behind the veil, just beyond your reach. You play your cards, I know your game. Let's see if you can reach. Ask your question, say the words, maybe I'll give you a clue. Be careful, my dear, you think I'm the prey, but really, who's hunting who?
Come closer, darling, don't be shy.
Within the
dark, I feel your eyes. The secret for keeping this dance we play. Will you discover me or will you come closer, baby? Close your eyes. Within the dark, I feel your mind. The secrets we hold, the dance will fade. You came to play, but maybe you've been played. I see you there in the shadows, hiding from the light. God damn it. I got a pen.
Hold on. Oh, consult the notes.
You have to consult the notes. You have to consult the notes.
Hold on. This is it. 2 pieces become 1.
Correct.
Wait, that's a note about something else.
I mean, that still technically works.
Okay.
But
Okay. Sure, that's fusion. Perfect.
does that ring any bells? Remember purple cards? You know, anything coming back with this?
No.
Oh, this is going to be a disaster.
God, I don't. You said another type of summoning, and I'm already like, wait a minute. Didn't I learn all the summonings?
Oh, you did not. We still have plenty more to go. So,
How many
let's go ahead and
summonings do you need?
let's give you a brief reminder. So, fusion summoning, if you recall, we have an entire 15-card deck of cards outside of our main deck called the extra deck. And so within that deck are multiple types of cards, one of which are fusion monsters. How you would summon fusion monsters is you'd have 2 or more monsters that would be listed on the card, and a fusion card of some kind, typically polymerization or any other variant. You would send all those cards to the graveyard, and you would go into your extra deck, place that fusion monster on the field. Is this ringing any bells?
Yes.
You're such a liar. You're
So
such a liar.
many bells be ringing right now. They're alarm bells. They say, get the F out. That's what they say.
Okay, so with that in mind, basically any of these summoning mechanics that are held within the extra deck are taking 2 or more monsters from somewhere, sending them to the graveyard typically, and they're going to summon something out of the extra deck. Okay, that's a basic rule of thumb. So fusion summons, it requires an additional card in order to do that. But today, we're going to be focusing on synchro summons, and I'm going to explain how this works. This is actually pretty intuitive once you see it. So I'm going to start by showing you the quintessential card here, which is a tuner monster. So go ahead and move this guy.
Whenever you're done, you keep on blinking at me. You never turn away from me in this fast gloomy night sky. Light that fire up in the night. The journey that we travel for upright. No matter where we go, we will not stop the shining
It is
forever.
considered its own summoning mechanic. So just how fusion summoning is its own mechanic, synchro summoning is its own mechanic. We'll get to that soon. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. It'll make sense. It'll make sense.
I quit. I can't. Okay. I didn't realize I was walking into a whole different game. Okay. 1 beat at a time. Breathe. Krebins. How'd I do?
Good.
Okay.
You're right.
It's Krebins. Okay. Mr. Krebins. Dark
Pressing, I'm
monster,
already with you, Mr.
level 2,
Kuzuma.
attack 1200, defense 400. Psychic tuner. Two words I have not seen before on cards. When this card is targeted for an attack, you can pay 800 life points to negate the attack.
Makes sense.
Shining spotlight that punch whenever you
So
turn.
the part
You
here,
keep on
the
blinking
part
at
to
me.
take note of here
You
is
never turn
next
away
where it says
from
psychic,
me
where it says
in
tuner.
this fast
So synchro
gloomy night
monsters
sky.
typically require what is called a tuner monster. A tuner is just a subtype of the card itself. So just like how the psychic is like the type, like, you know, elves or dragons or anything like that, tuner is considered part of its type, okay? So a non-tuner is anything that is not a tuner. So any of the monsters that I've pretty much shown you up until this point are for the most part non-tuners because they don't say that they are a tuner. Does that make sense?
Yes, although when like Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out in my childhood, being a tuner was something else.
Okay, so now that you understand what tuners are and what non-tuners are, we're going to go ahead and show you a synchro monster. So we're going to go ahead and give you this guy, right? Actually, you know, let's show you a non-tuner first, just so we can make this easier. Let's go ahead and show you a non-tuner. Give this guy a look.
Destiny Hero Malicious is a dark level 6 monster with 800 attack, 800 defense, warrior effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 Destiny Hero Malicious from your deck. So you get this.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. You get this out, and then when it's in the graveyard, you're like, get out of here, and then you go in your deck and you get another one.
Malicious, let's assume this is like your first turn of the game. Let's say you have a card that can send Destiny Hero Malicious to your graveyard. You can banish the Malicious from your graveyard to special another copy from your deck, right? That's a special summon.
Sure.
Then, for your normal summon, you would normal summon this Krebons onto the field. Okay? So you have 2 monsters now.
Okay.
Still with us?
Yes.
Okay. So Krebons is a tuner. Destiny Hero Malicious is a non-tuner because it doesn't say anywhere on the card that it is a tuner. It would say it where it says Warrior Effect. It would say tuner up there.
Zero.
Okay? Still following?
0 tunerings on this ripped demon here.
So now, unfortunately, you have to do math. So I'm going to warn you here.
No.
What you would do is you have to count the levels. So if you added up the levels of Destiny Hero Malicious and Krebons, how many levels is that total?
That's 8 levels.
Correct. And with that, you can then perform what is known as a synchro summon. So you can send both of those monsters to the graveyard, and CGB, behold your synchro monster.
Is the reason you needed 8 levels to do it because it's a level 8 monster?
Correct. So how synchro summoning works is you can see right in the first line of text under where it says Dragon Synchro Effect. It requires a tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters. You could have made this with 2 level 3s in Krebons. I just picked the 6 with Malicious to keep it simple. But yes, so for whatever synchro summon you're trying to perform, the levels have to exactly match that of the synchro monster you're trying to summon. So this is Stardust Dragon. It is level 8. And go ahead and give this card a read.
Is Stardust Dragon covering nipples? What's going on there? What are these pieces? It's draconic bikini over here. What is going on? Okay. You started the tuner stuff, okay? Attack 2500, defense 2000, dragon with synchro with effect, tuner 1 or more non-tuner monsters. No, tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field, you can tribute this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. During the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn and was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard.
So your goal today, now that you understand how synchro summoning works and you're a synchro master, I'm going to be showing you some of these synchro monsters, and just like we typically do, you're going to try to guess if these cards have ever served any time on our ban list.
Okay. Oh my.
Still with us? Still with us, buddy?
Maybe not. I have pressing business suddenly. Oh, what's that? It's the CGB signal. I must go. I don't want. Oh my God, there's too much going on here, dude. This is a lot. There's a lot of words. So are we doing it with this? Bikini Dragon here? Are we doing it with this?
Yeah, Bikini Dragon, yeah. So you can tell us what you think about this card. I know this is kind of hard to put in like magic terms because like you don't have any sort of summoning mechanic or anything like this. But even if you just assume this was like a 7 or 8 mana dragon that you would play, right? You can even just, kind of equate it to that. What do you think about if a card like this existed in Magic?
It's really hard to understand the cost. If a card like this existed in Magic, during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field, you can tribute this, negate the activation. If you do, destroy anything that would destroy thing of yours, most likely, because it is optional. You can negate that, destroy it. You contribute this card, activate, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Tribute this card. So are they talking about destroying this card? No, they say tribute it. They're saying destroy the card that activated, aren't they?
Correct. So let's say you have a Stardust Dragon on your field. Let's say I activate some sort of removal spell.
Yeah.
You can, in response, use the Stardust Dragon, tribute the Stardust Dragon, so it goes to the graveyard, and then that would negate whatever let's say it's a board wipe, right? It would negate that board wipe. Then during the end phase, Stardust Dragon returns to your field.
Okay, there are all spell cards in Yu-Gi-Oh are played like differently from Magic cards. They all like have an effect, right? Like a spell card that like goes off when you play it, that is an effect that you can negate.
If it is an effect that is destroying a card on the field with Stardust Dragon. Right. So, for instance, your favorite card, Pot of Greed, to draw 2 cards, Stardust Dragon can't negate that. It has to be a card that would be destroying something else.
It's not like in Magic, removal spells are never on the field. They're only on the stack.
They could be on the field. So, for instance, there could be, let's say, a monster that says, once per turn, you can destroy one card on your opponent's side of the field, and that's like a sorcery speed effect, let's say.
Sure.
So Stardust Dragon could also be used to stop that as well. But I would say more often than not, it's stuff that's going to be on the stack more than that's on the field.
Do they kill this? They have to attack it? Seems like its stats are pretty good.
There's a few ways. It has some good stats, and this is part of the appeal of Synchro Summoning, right?
Yeah.
We took these two weenies that I showed you before, the Krebons and the Malicious, that have pretty measly attack stats, right? And you get to summon this giant guy just because their levels align. While you may not be able to use destructive spot removal, for instance, running it over in combat is probably one of the most common ways to kill this, because it doesn't protect itself from being destroyed by combat, for instance. And then there's other non-destructive forms of removal as well, potentially, that can take care of this.
Yeah, there was that card last week where you contribute it, right? Contribute your opponent's stuff.
Yes.
That would
The
be
lava golem. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that would be a way to out
right?
Stardust Dragon. That does work.
Okay.
You're piecing it together.
I mean, what the heck, though? So I think it's a good card. Like the ability sounds annoying, frustrating, and really good board protection. But worse than that, like if you just have a hand with a bunch of removal spells, you're kind of screwed. I guess if you have multiple removal spells, you use one, this counters it, blows up the spell, and then this is in the graveyard, and then you use the other. But it still is like a flag bearer, I guess, in MTG, which was a card that said if you have to target something, you have to target this instead. And it was just kind of a removal magnet. And those were all right. None of them were this powerful. And the idea that you can just kind of get the right cards together and get this out is sickening and terrifying. And you've shown me like various ways to tutor up things in Yu-Gi-Oh! So at this point,
this kind of card is like unheard of by Magic standards, is what you're saying.
Is it? I feel like
in terms of how powerful it is.
I feel like there are effects trying to do a similar protection thing, but there isn't something that, like, you know, if a creature enters the battlefield and destroys target creature, this is like, nah, destroy that creature that tried to destroy that creature, and this is gonna come back. Like, I can't think of something like that. I really can't. Yeah, I don't think so. So, yeah, we're in fresh territory. Now, that card, I think, in Magic would be kind of busted, and probably a play pattern that even if the game design explored would be like, we don't really want that in the game because it's kind of, it's really game warping. It's like you're sitting there with all your removal spells, but you can't do anything with them. It's probably a nightmare-ish scenario, and it creates like repetitive states that are very unfun, where you just can't get through the thing. But, I mean, in Magic, you know, you might balance it by making an 8 or 9 cost card, and then nobody plays it. So what are we doing?
Well, this
here?
actually does technically have a cost, right? Because you do need to have a couple monsters to sort of funnel into to create this. So you always say how in Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything's free.
Yeah.
When you start getting into these summoning mechanics, you can actually see, like these have costs, in quotes, right?
I don't think there's going to be any gotchas here of like, well, you could never get a tuner and a non-tuner together. There just weren't enough tuners or ways to get them. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be an issue.
I will let you know for the purposes of this video, assume that it is reasonably easy to get these monsters onto the field, regardless of if you're playing like one particular deck that like that's its focus, or it's sort of like a toolbox that, you know, you have like multiple things at your disposal. Just assume the summoning condition is not the bottleneck with these.
Yeah, if this is reasonable to get onto the field, is it busted?
Correct. That's what I'm
It's really freaking obnoxious. It seems like an absurd kind of protection, and the fact that it just keeps coming back is kind of a nightmare. It doesn't seem like there's an easy way to deal with it unless you can exile it from the graveyard, and it's not like there's relief. It comes back on the end step. So if a trap card on your turn, negated. Then another spell on your turn, negated. Then it's just, So yeah, you have to find a way to hit it in combat. How hard is that? I still feel like there are things about combat that I'm getting used to, but this seems like it has good size numbers. Those don't look
2,500 is quite large.
Those are not bad
2,500
numbers.
is quite large. Yes.
God, is it busted? It's so tough off the very first one I've looked at. Assuming that this is easy to get out, did this ever have to be banned? Or was it fine? I don't know. This seems like the kind of card that would be ongoing nightmare fuel and would really push people towards this archetype. It's the only card I've seen of the archetype. So is this like the only card that like was every synchro deck becoming Stardust Dragon deck? Was it the payoff and nobody cared about others? That would be a reason to ban it. I don't know, but I could see it. Like, I guess I have to see some of the other cards. It's really tough as a first one to call it busted, but it looks really busted. It looks frustrating. It looks annoying as hell. It might be fine. I'm on the side of powerful, but might be fine, which is the worst place to be when trying to figure out if something got banned.
No lemons for you this week.
No lemons. All right, let's come out swinging. It got banned for a period of time.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Well, so much for your 10 out of 10, because you are incorrect. You should have went with your gut. Stardust Dragon, incredibly powerful, but it's fine. During the era when this was first released, so these cards came out, I think it was 2008, 2007, 2000, I think it was 2008. So about 6 years into Yu-Gi-Oh's lifespan is when this summoning mechanic started. And they still make synchro monsters today. We're going to see some newer ones a little bit later on, and you can see how crazy some of them get. Stardust Dragon, very annoying card. It was something that a lot of decks would want to try to funnel into because a lot of old Yu-Gi-Oh removal effects were destructive effects. And so Stardust Dragon did shield you from a lot of these types of effects. They kind of put your opponent like in this check situation that it was just a really difficult card to out. It was more of a card that, again, think of a lot of these cards as they kind of fall into either one of two categories. It's either the deck is designed to get this out as quickly as possible, or it's a card that is sort of like a toolbox that if you see an opportunity and the board state is in such a place where it's like, oh, Stardust Dragon seems good here. That's when you would decide to make Stardust Dragon. And Stardust Dragon falls into that latter category. It's not something that every deck was trying to just immediately do, like turn 1, turn 2, but it was just a really strong, solid card. One of the cards from the anime. People love Stardust Dragon. And is just a really solid card overall, and has been something that's been just perfectly healthy in the game.
Great.
That'll set the tone.
I got a starting point. All right.
With that said, let us show you your next synchro. So I'm not going to show you any more tuners or non-tuners. You get the gist. Like I said, moving forward, assume that these cards are all relatively easy to summon, and you're kind of just evaluating them in a vacuum. So here's your next one.
Goyo.
Correct.
Guardian, Earth, a level 6 monster. And it has 2,800 attack and 2,000 defense, and is a warrior synchro effect, tuner, plus one or more other non-tuner. I'll just call it tuner text. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your side of the field in face-up defense position. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the... It's got 2,800 attack, so it's going to win a lot of fights. And if it's not the first turn, you can bring this out and go to battle phase and attack, because everything has haste, right? So as long as their monster has less than 2,800 defense, you kill it and you get this? You get their
attack
thing?
or defense, but yes.
Okay. All right, so this is the power level we're going for. Well, shit, dude.
Well, I don't know. You thought Stardust Dragon was broken, and, that wasn't banned. So would they ban Goyo Guardian?
Dude, that's not fair. I didn't have any reference in that. Not really.
So having this card gives you reference.
It does. It does.
Okay. Where are you at?
That's a good question. This is... Seeing the last card and how it was kind of like unkillable by spells and hit for a lot, but didn't even hit for as much as this does. The fact that this, can yoink a Stardust Dragon and most other monsters I have seen. But this seems really good. This seems really good.
or was it banned?
So having seen Stardust Dragon, it feels like maybe this is what they were going for, though. They want a very large payoff for doing the thing, and this is a particularly powerful and frustrating payoff. Gosh, and it even gets their thing out of the graveyard, so they can't use their graveyardy effects. That's gotta be annoying. But, I mean, man, I think about, like, there was a spell that would just yoink opponent stuff and then use it to summon, and that got banned. I'm trying to remember, but it was just a straight up spell that did that. And this is, you know, that effect tied to a monster that you have to go through a lot to get. So in Magic, we have things like this. Not exactly like this. They just enter and take something. This is kind of like an enter and take something. It's not that different from the Magic cards because the Magic cards don't have haste, right? They don't come down and punch immediately. This comes down and punches immediately, but it doesn't really want to hit the opponent. When it does, that's great. That's kind of awesome stats. But it doesn't really want to hit the opponent. It wants to hit their thing and yoink it. It's kind of like an enters the battlefield ability on a Magic card. Now, those cards are very, very good. Some may have been banned.
What are you referring to in particular? Maybe Garrett could throw this up on the screen.
I don't want to tell you.
Okay. Oh, because you're going to show me. You're going to show me in one of your videos. I see. Okay. All right.
I don't want to tell you right now. Actually, I'll give you the Mind Flayer. Mind Skinner? Mind Flayer? One of those. It's from the Baldur's Gate set. They make too many cards now. I think it's Mind Flayer.
Gareth will figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's Mind Flayer. Yeah, it enters the battlefield, gains control of opponent's thing. I mean, those cards are good. Those cards are not completely busted. People do hate them. I think the problem here is definitely how oppressive it gets when you steal their thing and then they can't get rid of this, but they also can't play a thing because you'll steal it. But that has to be like the end game anyway, because what I'm getting from these cards is they all are like, if they stay in play for a whole turn cycle, you win the game. And that's kind of where like really advanced Magic gets as well.
Okay.
So I don't think that's like that's not a reason to ban the card. So this might be fine. It's annoying. People won't like it. I think the last card was annoying and people wouldn't like it. And I could see this because it is closer to a Magic card. And there is, there's counterplay to these kinds of things. They can steal your thing, but maybe you blow it up. And maybe it doesn't work well with their deck. So maybe they'd rather go face. I think what actually alarms me is that the attack stats are really good. So it's just going base is totally fine. That's not usually the case for cards that steal stuff in Magic. They usually have like lower attack stats.
Sure, if Goyo hits direct, it does a third of the opponent's life points. That's a lot.
It's a real punchy. I'm still gonna, this is interesting. The fact that I can liken this to Magic cards that didn't get all the way banned, and this being an Eternal format, and those effects aren't even like mega huge in like Eternal formats of Magic, let's go with not banned.
Final answer?
Sure.
You're not doing good today, CGB, because once again, you are incorrect. Goyo Guardian was Giga banned. This card was incredibly oppressive. Snatch Steal, the card that you referenced, was banned prior to Goyo Guardian being released. And as soon as people saw, we just have Snatch Steal on a 2,800 attack point monster that is relatively easy to summon, all things considered, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I do not think they've ever printed a 6-star Synchro monster with 2,800 attack points since this card because it was extremely pushed. This was released in the same set alongside Stardust Dragon, and I think to sell the set, they really wanted to get people to play these Synchro monsters, so I think they had to make them a bit OP, and Goyo Guardian, I think, is definitely one of the worst offenders, for all the reasons you mentioned. You're taking their stuff, you're denying them potential any graveyard synergy, and then if they can't deal with this, you can't, the play pattern's awful, because anything you play into it, Goyo Guardian's just going to take that, too, so you just... The amount of momentum Goyo Guardian generates is just absurd. And so, as a result, it got banned. It's legal now, but they actually errated it to make it a lot harder to summon, and it has seen no play ever since it got unbanned, because it's really bad. Also, even by today's standards, it might just be too slow, to be honest. But it was, back in the day, this card was a house, and people hated it. It is an incredibly good card. Incredibly good card.
Yikers. Yikers. They had bad yoink experiences, huh?
That they did. All right, next card. Well, you'll get one of these eventually. I'm convinced.
You know what? I just want to go now. Now it's like, can I get on the other Mount Rushmore, the one in the bathroom, the toilet Mount Rushmore? Can I go 0 for 10? That's what we're going for now. Thought Ruler Archfiend, level 8. Attack 2700, defense 2300, all those words, tuner text. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, gain life points equal to that monster's original attack. You can pay 1000 life points to negate the activation of a spell or trap card that targets one psychic type monster and destroy it. Now that's just an ongoing thing. They can do that anytime a spell or trap card targets a psychic type monster.
Correct, and that counts itself because it is in fact a psychic.
Okay. Is psychic like a deck type? Like, can you build a quality deck of psychics?
You could. I will say, for the context of this, you can evaluate Thought Ruler Archfiend just in the vacuum of it would protect itself.
1000 life points, and it destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, gain life. So it has a way to build life up, and it can protect itself. So I mean, there's a cost to it. It's not just straight up in Magic like hexproof. You just can't target a thing at all. This is, at least you have to pay something for the privilege. Those cards are still pretty good. Like, we've had cards that gain indestructible by paying life or discarding cards in Magic. Those cards do well if they're cheap and very aggressive. This is a form of cheap. Everything is. And it's very aggressive. 2700 attack seems like a lot. It's also on defense, right? So if this thing is defending and wins, you gain the life?
No. So how it would work is, well, it depends on the context of what you're talking about. Give me an example.
So I get, like, if they attack this, but say something changes their monster's attack in combat, a spell or something, and then this wins that.
Yes, the effect would still apply in that case.
I'm guessing that's not common, by the way.
No, it is. I just didn't fully understand
Wait, what?
the context to what you were saying.
I discarded all my
there are
new
battle
juice.
tricks that can modify the attack stats.
I only have one new?
That is, we do have those, yes.
This is good stats. This is another thing that's annoying to kill, but it doesn't have, like, card advantage built into it. It's kind of a big, is a big beater that is annoying to kill. I mean, there's a lot of, like, parallels in Magic, a lot of cards like this. But I'm trying to think of one that ever got banned, because it was just a big thing that was annoying to kill. And it's tough to draw the parallels now, because it's like, I guess you just have this on turn 1 every game, no problem.
You can, potentially.
You can't do it with spells, and you have to win the fight with a bigger monster, and it looks like bigger monsters are hard to find. Or you have to blow up the board, or you have to use the tricky ways to, like, sacrifice it. I just can't, I don't know. I feel like without actually playing through games and combats and seeing these on the field, it's so tough to gauge what might be bannable.
Okay.
I respect the stats, I respect the ability, but this doesn't scream broken to me. This screams annoying, but what every big monster should be. Every big monster should be difficult to deal with. Every big monster should be an impact. And this doesn't have, like I said, an innate, like, combo card advantage thing on it, screaming, I could be a problem. So I'm going to grade this as a not ban.
Final answer.
Yep, final answer.
Man, you were going 0 for 3, because once again, no, I'm just fucking with you. You're right. You're 100% on the money.
I made, yeah.
Yeah, that'll go with the thumbnail.
I'm ready to concede at that point. I was going to just give myself the, hey, I showed up today check mark and go out back to bed. Okay.
Thought Ruler Archfiend, though, is totally fine. This card actually sees, like, no modern play, just because, again, it's kind of just outdated. A lot of these synchros I'm showing you are a little bit older, kind of some of the first ones, because the text is similar. But Thought Ruler Archfiend, it's a situational type card where, like, if you're maybe behind in a game and you see the opportunity, oh, I can go into a Thought Ruler, I can hit this big monster, I can get like 2,000 life points back. Now I don't feel like my back is so much against the wall, I get a little bit of breathing room. Also, the fact that it has that built-in protection from spells and traps.
How was I gonna get my big boss monster out without summoning Diviner?
Retro format, Edison format, for instance. there's a lot of spells and trap cards that
Oh well,
target.
never
And so,
punished.
situationally, if you're looking to your opponent's graveyard, you know what kind of deck they're playing, you could kind of have a read on what kind of card your opponent has and make a thought ruler decisively saying, you have this card or these types of cards that target, and you cannot out a thought ruler. And if that's the case, you might just win the game because of it. So, decent card. I wouldn't say this card. Right. I wouldn't say this card is bad by any means. It's just it's not like bannable. It's just a good card. It's just a good card.
I do love the meta call of haha, thought ruled you.
Yep.
How about that?
Yep.
You like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Fun card. All right. Let's see what you think about this one.
Dark Strike Fighter. You got a level 7, 2600 attack. Jeez, oh, Pete's everything so punchy. 1800 defense, a machine, and you can tribute one monster to inflict damage to your opponent equal to its level times 200. Oh, okay, so tribute a level 6 times 200, 1800.
Maybe 1200.
1200. Math to the dome. Okay. What's the biggest thing you can get? Like, what's the
I will give
biggest
you some
attack stat you can reasonably get?
Biggest attack stat or level?
Level.
So I would say, the highest level in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is 12. I would say commonly the highest level you're going to see frequently is 8. 8 and below is very common. When you start getting to 9+, that's a lot more uncommon.
All right, so like a 1600 to the dome is not ridiculous.
It's about a quarter of their life.
But it's not like it wouldn't be impossible. It would be pretty reasonable to say if you're gonna play a deck like this about that, that's like doing it right. That's doing the thing. I mean, they keep banning the yoink cards, dude. So how are we supposed to tribute our opponent's monster and slap them in the face with it? That's like the ultimate thing. There's probably other cards that do that. I keep on seeing yoinkers that get banned. Is this good? Its own stats are these. You punch their face. Again, like you summon, so you regular summon or you tribute summon for your normal summon, right? Your one thing. Let's say it's big and strong. And then you, I don't know, do the synchro thing and special summon this thing. And then you go punch face, sack thing, do damage. That sounds like a lot of damage. 2600, 816. I mean, that might get up there. That's close to like their full life total. I have trouble believing that something that's this kind of all-in one-shot combo kill monster is a thing that has to get banned. I feel like these type of effects are exciting combo effects, hit your face effects. Like players love them. Card game players love this stuff. And the only way it goes busted is if there's like a combo that's literally a 2-card win the game combo. And what I heard is that's not it. There's still context to this. And there's a lot of other things that you have to get right. And the fact that so many things that steal opponent stuff that at efficient rates have been banned also makes me think that it's not completely like this plus the other, if you somehow had both. The one that you showed me that got banned, Goyo Guardian, right? Mm-hmm. Would be absolutely insane. But it seems like that's harder to pull off based on what I'm hearing. I can't see it getting banned. Okay. And maybe I'm crazy, but I think that the only way this is banned is if there's somehow a 2-card combo that just kind of endlessly does the thing. And I don't see it, so maybe you'll tell me there is. But this seems like a fine, exciting card. I will say it's probably a role player, if that. In modern Yu-Gi-Oh! It might be outpaced, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think it's banned.
Final answer?
Yeah, that's final answer.
This is not your video, CGB.
What the heck?
Dark Strike Fighter was giga banned.
Why?
This card is crazy. Okay,
What?
so let's give you some context here. So first up, one thing you may or may not have realized with this is that the effect to tribute a monster and do damage to the level times 200 is not once per turn. So if you have like 5 monsters on the field, you could fling them all at your opponent at once and just like kill them.
Okay. Okay.
There were some FTK decks around this time that took advantage of Dark Strike Fighter. And also, even if you take that out of it, yes, that's like some of the most degenerate stuff you can do with this card. Dark Strike Fighter was annoying because it put your opponent in this really awkward situation where if you're playing up against a really aggressive deck, they go like summon a couple guys, just attack you for a lot of damage. Maybe they synchro into Dark Strike Fighter to get 2,600 damage in as well. When they go into their second main phase, they can just use Dark Strike Fighter to tribute everything off to get the remaining damage to kill you. And so, at minimum, Dark Strike Fighter can fling itself and do 1,400 damage directly. That's not counting any other monsters you have on the field, right? So it wasn't hard for aggressive decks to get the opponents down really low and then just make a Dark Strike Fighter and just end the game immediately. It just didn't feel good. And so between all of the nonsense with this card, they finally banned it. They errated it and made it that it was only a once per turn effect. And I think you can only do it in the first main phase. I think they did something else to it to nerf it even more, and it never saw play since. But very, very degenerate card. This card is the bane of a lot of old Yu-Gi-Oh players' existence.
Yeah, the more than once a turn might have slipped my mind.
That's okay. That's okay. We don't have costs for our effects, so...
Dude, I'm a control mage. Who has more than one creature on the field ever? What the heck
Fair.
are we talking
Fair.
about? Okay.
Well, if you are a control mage, funny enough, this card is actually blue, I think you're going to like this next card I'm showing you.
Right, Brionic, Dragon.
Yep.
Yeah, Brionic, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. 2,300 attack, 1,400 defense. You can discard any number of cards to return the same number of cards from the field to the hand. You can discard any number of cards to return the same number of cards from the field to the hand. Like your opponents?
Either you or your opponents. Cool card, huh?
Oh no! You can do this anytime?
It is not a quick effect, so you have to do it at sorcery speed.
Okay.
But aside from that, yes, it is sorcery speed.
It's still busted.
Really?
Why
do you say that?
Is the graveyard a second hand?
I mean, that's like maybe the first thing you wrote in your notes, so you tell us.
No. The first thing I wrote in my notes is "for free!" exclamation point.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Well, you have to have a hand. You have to have a hand, and they ban Pot of Greed. How does one do these things?
You have to have a hand.
That is one of the tougher things to gauge is how well you can refill your hand in Yu-Gi-Oh! That is one of the tougher
draw a card
things.
every turn.
Yeah, you
so.
draw a card every turn. I've seen a lot of... I've seen some banned card draw that looks like straight up card draw. I've seen other various value pieces that have been banned. I don't know what a typical, like if you wanted your hand full card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or you wanted to have fodder in your hand would even be like. And it does take at least 2 monsters to get this. God, a card like this screams of just open-ended busted. Because
does it? Okay.
Yeah. Like you discard a card to return something to your hand that then if like in Magic we'd be looking for cards that like if I play this card I draw. So then you can return this, play it again, return this, play it again, return this, play it again. Some kind of an ongoing spell card or something like that. Like you can set up loops and then maybe there's a way to benefit from that, right? Every time you discard a card, XYZ happens, or once you draw in the card XYZ, you can play your whole graveyard. Like those are the things that like bust open combo Magic decks. And then you have the defensive application of you bring this out, discard like 2 cards, bounce their monsters, swing, win. Like, just clean their board, just go in and win. So assuming that that you can keep your hand full of just about anything. This card looks like it could be an absolute game wrecker. Just a game wrecker. Now, does that mean it got banned? I mean, these cards are annoying. There is no question. I would expect a card this powerful to be annoying, but it does have its own kind of limitation. Like, you are the one who has to set up the combo. Is that fine? You are the one who has to have cards in hand kind of shut your opponent down, and if you have a board state to end the game in that spot, like it was on the opponent to keep you from getting to that point. So how much? It's 2,300. It's still a big chunk. Like, play this, discard 2 cards, bounce their 2 things, swing with 2 or 3 creatures seems absolutely This seems devastating. I don't know if that's game warping, but there's plenty of things that also want you to discard it. At least that's what I saw in previous previous episode. Did this get banned? It's open-ended to the point where it could set up combos, it can produce end games, it's probably annoying. It has the warning signs, you know? It has the alarm bells.
Okay. The red flags are going off.
Yeah. There are red flags going off. It's a very powerful card, and you want some number of that in your game, but I have to also always remember it's an eternal format. Would they put up with this forever? I think that if this card is not banned, then what I am missing is probably how hard it is to keep cards in hand and just be able to use the ability well, or the combos I'm talking about of bouncing your own things don't exist. Okay. But this is an eternal format, which means you have access to tons of cards printed for years and years. I've got to assume some of those pieces at some point, I'll say our Mighty Sea Serpent friend at some point got banned.
Final answer?
Yep, that's the final answer.
You would be correct, CGB.
Okay.
Brionac is absolutely busted. Crazy good card. For all the things you said, it is a way to end the game. If you see the opportunity that you can just bounce your opponent's board back to their hand and just get in for a bunch of damage, that's a way to end the game immediately. One thing that you probably didn't pick up on mechanically, and that's okay because you're going to learn about this now, is that Brionac can target other synchro monsters. So remember Stardust Dragon, for instance, right? If you summon Brionac, discard a card and target Stardust Dragon, Stardust Dragon can't protect from that because it's not an effect that's destroying. You can bounce it. It doesn't go back to the hand. It will actually go back to the extra deck per game mechanics. So they could summon it out again on a later turn, but Brionac is like a way, similar to Goyo Guardian can beat over it in battle. Brionac is a way that you can bounce the Stardust Dragon away so that they just don't have it on the field any longer. Just an incredibly crazy card. There are combos and loops that you can use with Brionac to like bounce your own stuff and do a bunch of crazy nonsense. When your opponent's staring down a Brionac and they don't have an answer, it just basically creates an unwinnable game state because you can just keep bouncing back anything they play, even though it is sorcery speed. And once again, similar to Dark Strike Fighter, this effect is not once per turn. So you could summon Brionac, discard a card, bounce something, do a couple more plays, then maybe discard for Brionac again later on, bounce something else. You can use it multiple times. So this card is just batshit nuts. It got banned. It's back. It's errated. I believe it's just a once. I think you have to, you can only use it once per turn. So you do it once, but then you can't just do it like multiple times. It doesn't see much play because it's kind of power crept at this point, but hilariously strong card. Just this card is just absolutely crazy. So I'm glad you got this one.
Woo! Give me a blue card, no problem.
All right, well, we'll see about that when we get into the future. We'll see. This one will be interesting. It's not blue, it's green. So that means you're probably not going to get it right.
Don't even bother reading it. I'm just wrong. Naturia Beast, 2200 attack, level 5. It needs Earth Tuners, so that gets a bit more specific.
Correct. So eventually they did start printing some of these cards that required more specific materials. Again, like I said, for the purposes of this, imagine whatever deck you'd be playing this in, that the deck will be able to bring this out rather easily.
When a spell card is activated, quick effect, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. This card must be face up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. All right, you have this out. You shut down spells by milling. That's nice. That's great. I'm sure people love that. Your spells, I
feel like you love this card.
Your spells don't work. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome when some little dumb monster is shutting down my spells. It's great. Love it. Also, it's not even a cost. It's more than free. You get to mill. You sign right up for that. Can you only use the ability once per effect? So
I'd say you can.
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking. So let me read this again. When a spell card is activated, it doesn't even say opponents. So let's say you like the idea of milling yourself. If you activated your own spell card, then targeted this to counter the activation milled 2, does the game resolve, does the stack resolve in such a way that you can target it again before that happens?
I'm going to say if a spell is activated, whether it's yours or your opponent's, you can't like purposefully mill yourself 20 cards on one activation.
Magic, you could do that.
Right, I think that's just mechanically something different with Arcane. But no, you can't do that.
I was looking at this like activate one spell, mill myself out. Yeah. Here, flip over my deck, win game with some combo. Yeah. Okay. Can't do that. On its own though, so this like spell and traps, right? No, it's just spell cards. Has
just
to be
spells,
a spell card. So a third of the game, you know, a third of the type, a third of your types.
Yeah, just a third of the card pool.
Are spells is it common to have a deck with no spells?
No. I will say most of the time your deck is going to be anywhere in the neighborhood of, let's say, 30 to 60% spell cards.
Are there other good Synchro Earth monsters? Like if you are running Earth tuner stuff, is this like the only good option, or are there other powerful toolboxy options?
So, for context for this, the Naturia archetype has multiple synchro monsters, and they are all requiring Earth-specific things. So, Naturia Beast is not the only card you could make with these specific requirements, if that's what you're asking.
So, you have this option if you want to hose your opponent's spells, and you have other options if that's not the priority.
And you have all the generic ones. So everything I've shown you thus far, we call them generic if they don't require a specific material to be like Earth or anything. So hypothetically, granted, nothing else I've shown you has been level 5, but you could, decide to make a Naturia Beast, or if you have like an extra level, you could make a Bryonic or a Goyo Guardian, or if you have an extra 3 levels, you could make like a Stardust Dragon or a Thought Ruler Archfiend.
Does it have to be exactly the cost, by the way, that you sacrifice? Does it have to add up to exactly 5 to get the beast, or could it add up to 6 or 7?
Synchro Summon, yes, it has to be exact.
Interesting. I've been just assuming that's fine and easy and you can do that.
Like I said, for the purposes of this, I assume that it is.
Look at that kitty.
It's cute, right?
Look at the kitty.
You were having fun with cats on your channel recently.
Yeah.
It's another one to add to the deck.
Yeah. This is a green wood-based cat. So this card would annoy me. It's like an option. It's like a toolbox card that makes, I guess, the appeal of these a little better if you hate spell decks. If your buddy has a spell deck you just can't beat, now maybe you get into Naturia Beast, so you have an answer to that. But maybe there are other answers that aren't as pushed. This is pretty stone cold, like you might never spell again. They have to find other ways, like trap cards or monsters, to beat the hell out of this. Is this fine? I imagine it definitely leads to patterns where as soon as you saw a Earth monster, like an Earth tuner of any kind, or like sniffed Earth tuning in your opponent's deck, you're like, okay, my spells are, I might be in trouble there if I have too many spells in my hand, something like that. That seems pretty bad. Again, we're talking about eternal formats. There are other ways to probably get around and kill this between trap cards and creatures. It seems like there are. So this doesn't seem like it locks you out unless you are really heavy spell. And honestly, that is what green is normally supposed to beat up on. At least in Magic, like there's a lot of green cards that like shut down the spell-based decks in various ways.
Kind of funny.
Yeah, it can't be countered, can't be targeted, keep things from happening. Think of like Collector Oof, keeping artifacts from happening. So that makes it really tough to tell if this was banned or not, because I can see why they made this. The part that is the alarm bell to me is that also just milling cards into your graveyard could be just strict amazing upside. And I can't think of a Magic card that does those things I mentioned, shutting stuff down, but also like fills your graveyard too and gives you options to use your graveyard. That is the part that scares me. If it just countered spells, I'd be like, that's annoying, but probably good for the game. The fact that it counters spells and kind of gives you resources is really nasty. It makes it feel like you shouldn't even try to play spells at all. Did this get banned at any point in the long, long history of the game? I haven't seen many green creatures. I haven't seen this type of creature I feel bad. Like, I feel weird about this one. I'm going to say it wasn't banned. Because I'm trying to give these an identity. Like, why would you play these? Why would you play Earth creatures? Because I just haven't seen many. This seems like a good reason to play them. Like a counter to a type of deck that is often seen by the player base as the bad guy. A deck that's too many spells and not focused on battlefield. Pushes you away from that. And in Magic, that tends to be something that is a part of the meta, not something that is banned from the meta. I am worried about the mill thing, but yeah, I am trying to like develop an identity for the Earth type, so I'm going to say this wasn't banned. I'm going to say this is like the reason you play these types.
Final answer.
Yeah, that's it.
And you would be correct.
Okay.
CGB.
Okay, cool.
So you actually hit the nail right on the head. I think it's, I don't think I've really shown you a ton of Earth monsters. Like a lot of the best cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are like dark or light, historically speaking. And attributes, I don't want to say they're like colors in Magic. Like they sort of are in the sense that they divide cards up just by another characteristic. But for the most part, in terms of like having an identity to some of these cards, I think it kind of just gets thrown out the window, if anything. Maybe in early Yu-Gi-Oh! It was more like, the fire cards can burn or things like that. I think over time, they kind of just don't care anymore and they just make whatever they want.
What are you talking about? I just made a whole evaluation and a gutsy call based on identity, okay?
If you had the full context of Yu-Gi-Oh! It would make more sense. But anyway.
Oh, I bet it will. I bet you're going to use that against me now.
Potentially, now that you say that. So with Naturia Beast, this was a reason for people to say, what Earth Tuner monsters or Earth monsters in general exist in the card pool that we can play to have access to this really strong effect. And Naturia Beast is a card that over time has become more and more oppressive because decks over time have included more and more spell cards because spell cards are free, right? You could play as many as you want, assuming they don't have any like once per turn restrictions. And so players have always tried to find any way to incorporate Naturia Beast into their deck. Sometimes even if their deck isn't primarily made of Earth monsters, they might just have a little supplemental engine to get you the materials to make a Naturia Beast just to have the ability to play Naturia Beast. It's just a really strong card. But as good as Naturia Beast is for shutting off a third of the card pool and some of the really strong effects that spell cards have, there are ways to counter it. Monsters and monster effects are still probably the most commonly played type of card in the entire game, and those check Naturia Beast. Now, obviously, if you have ways to deal with those, and you have a Naturia Beast, then it gets really oppressive, right? But that's kind of like what it boils down to. So you also have trap cards. Like, trap cards can deal with Naturia Beast. And so it kind of just depends on, like, if there's a lot of, like, super heavy spell decks in the format, or if there's easy ways to make Naturia Beast in addition to everything else your deck does. It'll kind of make its way in and out of formats, but never banned, never, like, limited or restricted or anything like that. Just, I wouldn't say this is a healthy card necessarily, but I think the fact that it's not generic and you have the Earth restriction on this is what makes this fair, in quotes, if you will.
Nice. Fair.
All right. You got that one.
I think I sniffed out a green card pretty well there. I think
You did. It's funny that it sort of aligned with Magic philosophy in that case. All right, only a few left. I want to get to some of the more fun ones. So let's get to some more newer cards here. Can't wait to see what you think about this guy.
Okay, immediately the art and like the way the text is printed and everything, I would have just called this a fake card. I guess things have changed.
Wait till you read it.
Oh my god!
Wait till you read it. Wait till you read it.
Great. Okay. Yeah. I can read it. By the way, the text is like somewhat legible, hence the fakeness. So Blackwing Full Armor Master. It's math. Is that level 10? Level 10. Look at this. Look at this. We got a sword. Okay. We've got wings. We've got feathers. We've got armor, and we've got a gun. What the hell kind of weapon arsenal assortment? What kind of fit is going on here? This is absolute nonsense. This kit is insane. It's insane.
Got the drip.
Look at
He's got the drip.
What are those, knee pads? What are those spiky things?
He's got to be full armored.
This is nonsense. Okay, you have a gun and you're and a sword. Okay, 3,000 attack, huh? Yeah, okay, 3,000 defense, huh? Okay. It's a wing beast. Tuner text. It needs a Blackwing tuner, which we're gonna assume.
Right, Blackwing is
no
the
problem.
archetype.
Okay, we're talking level 10. Should I still assume this is just a thing you can do if you want to?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, sure, I'll assume that. Unaffected by other cards' effects. Each time a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, place 1 wedge counter. We're putting counters on shit?
We have counters.
God, we're
We have
Magic
counters.
the Gathering. Let's go. I know how to evaluate counters. All right. Each time a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, place a wedge counter on that opponent's monster, max of 1, after the effect resolves. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls with a wedge counter and take control of it. Once per turn during your end phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field that have a wedge counter. Obviously, stats be crazy, and you can't hit it with anything. Is what it sounds like. Unaffected by other cards' effects is a wild line of text. Is that like Magic's protection from everything?
I don't know what protection from everything encompasses, but I would assume it's similar based off the wording.
I imagine you are trying to find weird corner case stuff and, like, does a board wipe hit this?
Nope.
Oh, so yeah, you're trying to find like bizarre corner case stuff to destroy this. Well, you just can't get rid of it. Sweet. All right. Then you have this convoluted put counter on stuff, and then you can either take control of it or you can destroy everything that has a wedge counter. Or you can do both. Yeah, you can do both. Each time a monster your opponent controls activates its effect. Effects seem good. They seem important. They seem to be a part of every meaningful board impactful monster is what I'm getting. So if you can't get rid of this with anything, that means anything you play as the opponent of whatever the hell this monster is, anything that you play and use means they're going to use it against you. And if you use multiple things to try to get ahead on board, they're all gonna die. What the hell are you supposed to do? A board wipe doesn't hit it. It's huge. It beats everything in combat that I've seen. You can't attack it. Its defense is just as huge. Dude, what do you do? What do you do? How do you
I don't know. You tell us.
What the?
How do you tell us? You tell us.
Why would they make a card that if you summon this, you win? And you can do this on turn 1.
Yep.
What am I missing? What am I missing? It's so huge. How do you even, like, beating in combat has to be really hard, or you just never show me, or you show me terrible monsters, which I don't think is true. You said this is newer. There's probably a lot of things about current Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't understand. First read busted. Like, what the? That's first read. Like, what are we doing here? So this feels like, you know what this feels like? This feels like a whole different game. Like you're not showing me Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. You're showing me, I don't know, Dark Magic side quest, other game, not quite, but somewhat inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what it feels like. How am I supposed to tell if this got banned? If this was created in recent years, there are 2 possibilities. 1, someone took freaking crazy pills and made this card. Or 2, they said, fuck it, and they made 100 cards like this. In which case, how do I know if this got banned?
If you want context, this card is 6 years old.
That's still a lot newer than the 90s and 2000s cards. Like, a lot newer.
Sure.
That's a lot newer.
We have 25 years of history. There's a lot.
So, like, God, would they really let all the people shut indoors during the pandemic have to deal with this card the whole time? No way. No way. No. So first read compared to the other cards you show me, like, this is the one I would ban first. And I'll just say that, but my God, if I find out, if you blow my mind that way, I'm just gonna be like, I am not prepared for Yu-Gi-Oh! 2, which is, I guess, what I'm gonna call everything after 6 years ago. Because honestly, that's what it should be. If this is what the game is now, holy, like, they don't care about power creep one bit. How would you even errata this? Look at the lines of text. They're all busted. Go, okay, ban it, get this out, ban everything like it. Gone, out of here.
You ready for me to blow your mind?
I'm ready for you to psych me out.
This card is totally fine.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
I'm not joking. This card is legal. It's ad free. It's never been banned. This card is fine. I'm not messing with you. I straight up am not messing with you. This card is totally fine.
Dude,
Everybody always gets me.
Nobody's falling for this.
There's no punchline. All right, let me give you context. Okay.
Am I stupid? Okay.
So, okay, so context. So, remember earlier on in this video, I said that these types of cards in the extra deck could fall in either one of two camps. It's either that decks are kind of doing their thing and they can access these types of cards at any time, or a deck is designed to do like one thing and to turbo this thing out, and that's like basically all the deck does.
Dude, that was an hour ago. I don't remember that. Did you say
Blackwing Full Armor Master. Blackwing Full Armor Master is the former in this case. It is a card that is like, this is what this Blackwing deck, by modern standards, is trying to do. The whole deck, turn one, is trying to get this guy out as fast as possible. And if they stick it, ideally, the goal of that deck is to win the game by just getting this card onto the field. I said that this card is fine. I think that's subjective. I don't personally believe any card in the game should say unaffected by other cards' effects. And spoiler, this is not the only one that has that, if you can believe it. The thing is, there's a couple things going on here. So first of all, there's a lot of interaction in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you can activate cards at instant speed, even on the very first turn of the game, from your hand. So even if your opponent's going first and this is their end goal, there are things you can do to stop your opponent from getting to this end goal. Now, it may not necessarily always work, but if you know these decks well enough over time, you can find the choke points and stop them from getting to big thing that ideally wins them the game.
You're saying that there's turn one free interaction in your game right now?
Correct, yes. And there has been for quite some time.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a video about that. We'll have to do a video about
Great.
that now that we're bringing it up.
How
that
exciting.
Would give you context. It is fun. It is fun. So, furthermore, if you recall from the last video we did, and you talked about this earlier on, referencing Lava Golem, for example, those types of monsters that you can give to your opponent by tributing over one of their own monsters, if you have these cards either in your main board or your sideboard, you can have them, and if your opponent funnels all their resources into Blackwing Full Armor Master, you're like, okay, cool, here's a Lava Golem, right? They need to have another monster for Lava Golem, but there's a bunch of cards that are similar to Lava Golem, some that only require one monster instead of two. There is, surprisingly, a decent amount of counterplay to a card like this existing. And the thing is, this type of card also allows decks that may not be considered to be like tier 1 or tier 2 the ability to compete with those tier 1 or tier 2 decks because it gives them a win condition that's really hard for those top decks to interact with, even if it is like a rogue strategy at best. And even if it's not the most interactive way, it is still like a way to give like older decks or other decks something to like kind of combat current and modern support. So even though from a card design perspective, this card is an absolute nightmare, it is surprisingly like not the most egregious thing you will be encountering in Yu-Gi-Oh! You're also having to play this Blackwing deck, and if all you're doing is trying to make this guy and they out your guy, you just lose the game. So it's very glass cannon. It's all in. If you get the guy out, ideally you win. If not, you're probably gonna lose because you have like no backup plan, essentially. Does that give you any more context, or do you still think this game is unbelievable?
Okay, you're kind of making it sound like this is like playing a Blackwing deck is harder or more restrictive than other things.
Restrictive in the sense by this like modern deck standard. Not necessarily that it's harder, it's that like this is like basically the win condition of the deck, and if you don't get this guy out, you're gonna lose like 99% of the time.
But the whole premise was that it's easy to do this if your deck does this, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is easy for the deck to do it, but your opponent can interact with you to stop you from getting there or have the outs to take care of the card itself.
Okay.
The premise is still there. The premise is still there.
I feel fooled by two things. Acquiring this card, getting this card out, unaffected by other cards' effects. Apparently not. Somehow. It's like a special summon that's not special.
Well, at that point, it's a game mechanic thing. Tributing over your opponent's monster to give them a thing isn't an effect. It's a summoning condition. So those are two different things by our game standards. There's no effect being activated to interact with this. It'd be no different if you tribute summoned over the Blackwing Full Armor Master yourself. That's not an effect. You would just be sending it to the graveyard to tribute summon your own guy. I'm just doing that on your side of the field.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Sure. Why not? Actually,
Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's not as effective.
All right, we got one more. We'll put you out of your misery with this one.
What the hell is this? I'm looking at this art. Like, wow. Wow. You'll leave the house in that outfit. Holy cow. All right. Baron de Fleur? Okay, everything has 3,000 attack now. Let's get used to this. Once per turn, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. Once while face up on the field, when a card or effect is activated, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. You can only use the previous effect of Baron de Fleur once per turn. Once per turn, during the standby phase, you can target one level 9 or lower monster in your graveyard. Return this card to the extra deck if you do special summon that monster. Level 9 or lower seems like it should cover a lot. This is level 10. Okay, that's why. Once per turn during standby phase. So that's start of turn. If this is still out and you have a level 9 thing in monster in your graveyard, this goes to extra deck and you summon the other monster. Why? So
that is optional too.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah. I mean, this is already a heck of a monster. So the idea that maybe
I feel like you don't
want
have
to
the
get
same visceral
another,
reaction though, like you did to Full Armor Master.
because I don't care anymore. Because I'm dead inside. That's why. You target one card on the field and destroy it. There's a lot of once per turn.
Yeah, they started learning their lesson with newer Yu-Gi-Oh! That they need to be very liberal with sprinkling that wording in their card text.
In Magic the Gathering, when they started doing that, all the cards that used it suck.
Okay, good to know.
Once per turn is like the bane of Magic the Gathering broken play. Like people who love broken decks, it's like the bane of their existence. You can target one card on the field, destroy it. Seems good. Once while face up on the field, when a card or effect is activated, you can negate the activation if you do destroy it. So the reanimation ability is interesting. It's the one that feels the strangest.
Okay.
Because,
Why do you say that?
well, it feels like most of the other big baddies that you show me are, here's your, you went through all this to get this thing, so here's your thing. And this is like, get more of something else at a lower level, something that's a lower level. But maybe that thing at the lower level is better for your deck, or a specific effect that you want again. So it's not a bad option to have. It's just, it seems unique compared to everything else as like, get me in play, I'll win. So it's a little hard to be like, yeah, what should do? When does it happen? During the standby phase. So it has to stick around for a turn. How easy it is. I mean, you can negate the activation of something. Well, if protection from all card effects means still easy to interact with, then what the heck does this mean? What are we doing here? Like, it doesn't matter. They can kill it if they want to. When did this card come out?
This card came out in 2021.
This card's probably not even good.
Okay. Why do you say that?
I don't know, because I'm freaking rattled that you can destroy anything. I mean, this is like removal. Removal's fine. One card on the field, destroy it. I just straight up, like, here's a monster, remove a monster. Like, in and of itself is probably not busted. It does say once per turn. So does this also happen on the opponent's turn?
So the first effect is a sorcery speed effect.
Okay,
called
because it doesn't say quick effect?
Correct.
Okay.
Whereas the second effect to negate something can either be done during your turn or during your opponent's turn. But it says only once while it's face up on the field. So you can't, if you negate something during your turn, you can't negate something during your opponent's turn.
So is wind. I don't know much about wind. I don't know anything about wind. I've seen warriors. Just trying to think of like what does this go? What deck does this go in with like these level 9 monsters that you're then reanimating when you go to your next turn? And why would you do that? Because can you activate at sorcery speed? Does that mean you can't use the ability on a turn where you're also going to use the standby phase ability?
You couldn't because the reanimation ability happens in the standby phase, and the once per turn target a card on the field, destroy it would happen in the main phase. So if you were using the reanimation effect, it would shuffle it, or not shuffle, it would return itself back to the extra deck, and then you would summon the thing that's no longer on the field, if that answers your question.
Yeah, my brain is like broken. My gut says that this is fine, so I'll just say that this got banned. And let's just go against. I go against myself. We'll just go completely against myself. I more need you to talk about this. I am like at a point where I just feel completely out of touch with this game.
Did Full Armor Master just completely... Like, you seemed fine up until we got to Full Armor Master. That kind of ruined you.
Yeah, I'm just cooked. I'm cooked.
Got it. Okay. So you think it's fine.
I think it's fine, so it's obviously busted.
Got it. All right, final answer.
Yeah.
Good thing you went with that, because you're correct. This card is busted and it's banned.
See, at least I am a humble gamer. I will recognize when I am that fool, and I will be that fool. That is fine with me. I will figure it out later, but please educate this fool.
Sure. Okay. So first of all, one of the things that really helps Baron de Fleur is the fact that it's generic. If you recall, with Blackwing Full Armor Master, it requires a Blackwing deck. And with the Blackwing deck specifically, by modern standards, that is like really all that deck is trying to do. Just get into Full Armor Master.
I'm gonna pretend I actually put Natasha in defense position.
Baron de Fleur being generic
Whoops.
means that anyone playing any deck that has the ability to make level 10 synchro monsters, and during this time in Yu-Gi-Oh! And thereafter, it was not very good.
Not that it matters.
Would have this as an option in their toolbox of extra deck cards to be able to play, and as a turn 1 opening card, was very strong. Now, yes, it says it's unaffected, or excuse me, Blackwing Full Armor Master says it was unaffected by everything, so you think that's all crazy. The thing is with Baron de Fleur is that it's a really strong card in and of itself, where it once per turn pops something, so that kind of replaces the fact that you had to put resources into it, right? You have the 2-for-1 to get into it, but then it pops something, so it kind of like balances out card economy-wise. Then, if it's ever threatened by anything, whether it's spot removal or board wipe or anything, Baron de Fleur can negate that. Even if it's only a once per turn negation, that's still really strong. The fact that it's generic just means it has so many other applications in being played in so many other decks that it's not this all-in, this is all this deck is designed to do is summon Baron de Fleur. It's more of like an accompanying support piece to any newer decks that are doing a million other things. And if they can make Baron de Fleur, that's fantastic. So the reason this card ended up getting banned, aside from it being just very oppressive, was the fact that it was just so generic, almost too generic, kind of like harkening back to some of our older cards that we showed off. It was so generic that any deck could play it, that it almost just homogenized all of these different strategies. And so the combination of all of those things was actually the reason that it ended up getting banned. People were just really sick of always playing against it. Like, every deck was like, all right, I'm just going to make Baron now, and Baron can just like eat 2 to 3 cards by itself, basically. And then funny enough, the reanimation effect is like the least useful part of this card. It can come up, but I would say for the most part, it's like not that important. If you have a reason to reanimate something, sure. Putting it back in the extra deck means you could synchro summon it again, so now it has the ability to counter something else, since that ability is only once while it spins up. But for the most part, if Baron de Fleur's out on the field, it just wreaks havoc on the game, and it's an absolute nightmare to deal with. It has so many attack points, helps insulate you from any of your opponent's ways of interacting with you because of that ability. Just an absolute house card. And has been banned actually very recently. They only just banned it within the past,
keep on winking at me. You never turn away from me in this fast gloomy night sky.
This was the day. This was great. I feel like I learned so much about how absolutely stupid I am. That was, those are the most fun. Really, like, just revert you back to a useless child, 5-year-old mentality of everything I know is wrong. You know, that's just good, solid content.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Definitely suffers from complexity creep, and these last few cards I've showed you here are not exactly immune to that, to say the least. But I want to start you off easy, but I also want to show you some of the crazy newer stuff that we have from from the more recent years. What do you think?
I think that Yu-Gi-Oh! 2 looks like a very exciting game. Wow. So being thrown right into that pool after like getting softened up by, what have I seen like now, like 30-some, 40-some regular, I'll call it, regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. It's like, the whiplash is killing me. It's absolutely killing me. I'm upset.
Main phase 2 synchro on that thing. Daniel Howell, Life Keeps Using Solemn Judgment on My Hopes and Dreams, and Naveed Mandavi. Thank you so much again for watching, and
When it's all said and done, it's up to you to get to where you wanna be. Now make your movement. Don't you look back. But you want to launch on it. We got it going on. Remember, we've got your back. Though it looks so good from the looks of the berries. It wanna be as sweet as when it's shared amongst us all. Ride and ride down to wherever we want. No one can stop the way of things. We'll keep on reaching out for the truth, oh yeah. The fuck happened? I did not mean to activate the banish effect. Oh, I don't have freeze. I'm stupid, god damn it. Yeah, this one doesn't work either. Jesus Christ. One more try using this deck. Going first, that's a good sign. This hand just sucks balls. Person, I'm already futuristic. Like that. Keep on looking at me and never turn away from me in this fast blooming night sky.
curiosity brings me back and grooving. Don't wanna follow water, water restore that order, crossing the border, next corner, moving forward borders. Next level explorer with my true supporters to conquest forward with my.
Like a shining star, first for earth and never restore. You keep on breaking at me. You never turn away from me. In this vast flaming night sky, lost on fire up in the night. The journey that we travel for our prize. No matter where we go, we will not stop the shining.
Hey, why couldn't I called by? Oh fuck, I forgot to set down called by. Lol. I wasn't supposed to win this. A bit better. Why did I bring dimensional barrier? Okay. Why did I side Decent when I was guaranteed to go first? My god, my brain isn't working properly today. Or anymore.
Prototype, more room for growth at the same time. It's real life on a verge of deciding the color of the rest of your life. It's too heavy to think like that, but on both sides we take impact. Get wise, arise, so with me best to find.
Some of my regrets come hurting me to this day. Choice I made, it was wrong. I felt left to believe that I was alone. I learned it harder way, but you didn't have to go through what I've been through. 'Cause you're not alone in this frustration. So come with me when your mind gets set to
trend. Haha, that's right, baby, 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 we tight. Pull the trigger, make it look flashy even when it's bitter. Cannot defeat me even when I lose. I stand right back to the spot, go figure. You don't see what I see, but you don't have to see what I see. Just see how to ride despite my differences.
Oh, turning up the effect and waiting. It's time to it captures you. Either you go with determined.
Let's go.
Bustin', running, tumbleweeds in the road, solid, fearing, get this feel in my bones. Stay down, I'll be back on the show, pumping rhythm, getting out of here. But I can see again, shot faster than lightning.